This is what the chicken livers I buy looks like. I get this at Whole Foods. I hope it's not spoiled. I got it like 3 days ago and I usually make it right away. But these livers still look red, not brown. So let me get this started and see if I can show you guys how I make this along the way. Okay, so I've got some bacon grease here from some bacon I had yesterday. I'm just going to make the liver in this, and I don't always make this pate the same way. I just use like whatever oils I have available. But since I have some very recent bacon grease here, I'm going to lightly fry or saute the chicken livers until they're just brown, they're just cooked on the outside. I want them to have a pink center because that's going to give it its like rich, kind of creamy consistency. So I'm going to do that right now as soon as this finishes heating up. These look so good. They are so red. Sometimes you buy them and they're kind of brown and they look gross, but these are like really, really bright red. So I'm just going to saute them until they're all that color right there, that kind of brown, all over on the outside. And actually, I might undercook them this time and see just how raw I can make this without it being like just completely liquefied. So just do this for a couple of minutes until it's browned. I might need to turn up the heat a little bit. Okay, I added salt and pepper. I'm very, very liberal with salt because I used to have heart palpitations for a while, and I found that increasing my salt intake really, really helped after reading an amazing book called The Salt Fix by Dr. James DiNicolantonio. So I very liberally salt my food. So this will probably need another minute or so, and then I will turn off the heat, let it cool down, throw it into a blender, and I will show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so they're mostly browned. There's still a little bit of pink everywhere, but I would like to try undercooking them this time and see how that comes out. So I'm going to turn off the heat and let it cool down for a little while. Alright, this is cooled down. I just realized it's a lot pinker or redder than I would have wanted to, but I'm going to just leave it like that. I'm not going to cook it again. So if this is your first time, I would recommend just cooking it through until it's completely brown on the outside. But I'm personally willing to risk eating it a little raw right now. So I'm going to put this in here. Alright, make sure that when you're pouring out everything from the pan, you get all of the bacon grease or whatever oil you're using as like your base, because you need that, and in fact you're going to add more. So I am going to use olive oil, and I'm going to add maybe, let's say about a cup, maybe. I'm not sure exactly how much, but I'd say to fill kind of like 1/3 of the amount of liver, or maybe 1/4. So that, and then I'm also going to add some ghee. I'm not using butter right now, so I'm trying to minimize the amount of dairy I have for my acne. So I'm going to add some ghee. That's about maybe 2 tablespoons of ghee. And I'm also going to add this onion here. So that's going to be ground in there with the pate. If you are super dogmatic about the carnivore thing, then don't add the onion. It's perfectly fine. Sometimes I make it with the onion, sometimes I make it without. But I am going to add onion this time around. Alright, so this is ready to blend. I usually end up having to add more oil or butter, whatever it is that I'm using as the fat, or more bacon grease, whatever it is that you have as your base. So I'm going to blend this and then see if it's not too chunky. If it's too chunky, I'll add some more olive oil. So let's see how this goes. Almost looks like a smoothie. Alright, so this is what it looks like when it's all ready. This came out pretty good. It looks extremely creamy. Once you refrigerate it, it solidifies obviously a little bit more, but it does stay creamy. So the last thing I'm gonna do, well, at this point I will usually taste it and see if it's salty enough. You're supposed to eat pate cold, but you can tell how it's going to come out when you taste it like this. So it definitely needs more salt. I'm going to add more salt to taste, blend a little bit more, and then I will pour it into some Tupperware or a glass container, and then I'm going to melt ghee over it to create the little top coating that liver pate usually has, and I will show you what that looks like. It could be creamier, but that's not so bad. Almost looks like a blueberry smoothie. I don't know why the video makes it look like it's purple, but it's actually just brown in person. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna melt a ton of ghee in here. You can use butter, I prefer butter, but I'm using ghee. So I'm gonna do that. Melt this completely, and then once it's melted, we're going to pour it over the top of the pate. And then what I like to do, and I just kind of made this up, I'm not sure if this is how you actually have to gel the top. I sprinkle some collagen powder over it, and that kind of solidifies it and makes it kind of like jello-like. I'm sure that's not the right way to do it, but I just kind of like made that up, and it seems to work. So I'm going to do that once the ghee melts. It's probably best if you use glass, just because the ghee is going to kind of cook the plastic. I mean, even though you can't see it, that's what's happening. That's probably kind of toxic, but you know, YOLO. And then for the final touch, I just sprinkle some of this on top. Like I said, I don't know if this is the right way to gel the top, but I had this bright idea and it seems to work for me. So just sprinkle some collagen on top, and that's it, guys. You got yourself a pretty legit looking pate after this. And again, I'm sorry this recipe isn't all formal and I don't have the steps typed up and stuff, but I don't have time for that, so hopefully this helps. What I should have done before pouring the ghee over is to get a spoon and smoothen out the top, so this doesn't look as disgusting as it does, but this is going to taste pretty sweet. So well, alright guys, that's it. Hopefully it turns out okay for you if you decide to give this a shot. It's definitely a way easier way to eat liver, and like I said, it's truly enjoyable to me. I can have I'll probably down that in like 3 days. So I'm trying to have one of these little batches of liver once a week, and last week I had some beef liver pate and it was amazing, but I couldn't find the grass-fed liver yesterday, a few days ago when I was food shopping, so I just got these chicken livers, and next week I'll have some beef liver. So let me know if you guys try this pate, and let me know if it works out, or if you have any questions. I'm sure I can help you troubleshoot. I mean, it's very simple though. You shouldn't have run into any problems. But alright, hope you enjoyed this. I will catch you guys next time.